Hello, my friends. Well, this is an exciting day. I have been spending time trying to sort through and organize and put away a tremendous amount of scrap fabric that I recently got off of a yard sale. More on that another time. But it has prevented me from sitting down with this very special piece of fabric. So today I just wanted to take a little bit of time to show you this project, and I think I'm going to sit here and play and maybe get an idea of how I'm going to use it. So if you know Create and Craft with Christine, hi Christine, thank you so much for sending me your Nana's Traveling Rickrack, which is a very exciting project that a number of us are collaborating on all over the world. So the fabric has finally made its way to Florida, and I am able to sit down and think about how I might use it. Now, you're going to see here, it is a large piece of fabric. You could really do a number of things with it. So the question is, how do I want to proceed with such a beautiful piece of fabric? Now, you could just fussy cut these out and use them, and that is something I'm thinking about doing. As it is, this size is a little big for what I usually make. If I wanted to do a wall hanging or something, I could just thread paint this whole thing, which would take forever, but it would be beautiful. But I think what I'm really drawn to are some of these different sets of flowers. And so I think that I'm going to go ahead and think about harvesting a few flowers and then using them in a special project. Okay, so I have around me a few different, well, a whole lot of fabric. So as I said, I recently went out and I bought off of a woman a tremendous amount of fabric. I will include some photos here so you can be aware of what I have been facing. I laundered all of it and I spent last night sorting it, and it's amazing, amazing, amazing fabric. But it's been my focus for several days. So what I wanted to do was just pull a few different things. Like, okay, where do I even want to start? Okay. Something neutral. What do I want to make? That's really the first question, isn't it? Do I want some kind of direction? So one thing I want to make is a fabric journal for my daughter. My daughter's 18th birthday is Friday. How did we get here? I do not know. Oh my goodness. She's amazing. I'm so proud of her. She's starting in the fall a program to become a nurse, and she is just an amazing person. So I've been thinking about making her a fabric journal, and I'm going to tuck some messages into it, I think. And so that's something that's been on my mind. So if I made her a fabric journal, I could use some of these flowers on the cover, and that would be very special and very beautiful. Okay, so if I do that, let me think. What do I want to use as the basis of my journal? So there's a few different ways we can go. I often will just start, I'm going to put this to a side so I can keep that safe. I generally am going to start with a piece of fabric that is kind of the right size. Now the question is, do I want it to be a little journal? That is a thought. Just a very special little journal. Like, this is my favorite journal that I always have near me. This is even smaller than that. I love the size of this because it just fits in your hand so well. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe about that size. So this is a little bit small. These are all my neutral fabrics. Ooh, what about this? This is part of a tea towel. All right, Nana's Rickrack, you stay over there. Don't get lost in the heap of fabrics. Okay, so if I folded that over, that's about perfect. Okay, let's use that. And I love that it has this little bit of trim along the top. So I'm going to cut it just a little bit longer than I think I want it to be in case I want to make a little hem. As we all know, you can always make it smaller. Oh yes, she is absolutely freeform cutting this. Is she even on a straight line? It's pretty good. I mean, that's not bad because I'm going to be folding this. It's not going to stay exactly as it is. All right, then, yes, when I fold that over. Now, to even it out, obviously, what I can do is fold it how I want it, right there, and then match her up. That was not bad. Not a bad cut, Kate, but, well, do I even need to do anything? Well, it's an old piece of fabric. It's a little wonky. I'm not going to worry about trimming that off because I think it's pretty close. Okay, beautiful. Now what? All right, so now let's think about the cover. And I am going to use one of these gorgeous flowers. You know I'm looking at that, right? It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. But let's see. That one and this one are similar. And this one, if I cut it off, I still have this complete. You know, obviously when we're harvesting flowers, harvesting, as Kate in the Nest would say, you know, if you can take it from the side, not from the very middle of your piece, probably not a bad idea. Okay, so, sorry, that was the sound of my iron hitting the floor. I have this mini iron that I always have off to the side. Okay. I'm going to cut around this. And I'm going to go ahead and cut pretty close to this flower on some of the sides because I am just going to use her as she is there. Okay, now that I have found my first project of the project, how are y'all doing? I hope that you have something fun to work on. As always, I have a few moments before I have to leave for the day, or leave for, well, yeah, pretty much the day. And I do plan, because I'm, you know, there's always time in between. It's when I get my most special things done. So I am getting this project ready so I have something to bring with me. Now, do I have other projects? Of course I do. But Lily's birthday's coming up, so if I'm going to give this to her on Friday, which I think is possible, then I better get going. All right, Nana's beautiful, well, Christine's fabric. Nana's rickrack. We'll see. This may make it into this project, or it may come into another project. We'll see. I might put it in this one. That is such a generous piece of fabric, Christine. It's so beautiful. Okay, so I'll tell you what. So I'm at the point with all of this fabric because, okay, I had a good amount of scrap fabric that I bought back in the fall. I had been delayed on a work trip and I had an extra day in Chicago. Okay, if you have an extra day in Chicago and you have nothing going on, what I highly recommend is going to this, just look up Fabric Warehouse Chicago. It was this massive warehouse of every imaginable fabric and trim and all the things. And I spent 3 hours happily going through all of their scrap bins, which was literally the best. Why, yes, I did have to have Walmart deliver to my hotel an extra little duffel bag for all of my fabric. But you know what? The fabric was $1 a pound. Okay, for $20, I got an entire, I mean, really what started my collection of fabric? That's how much fabric there was. And so then I brought it home and, as one does, I sorted it by color and I put it in little tubs, which was a great way to start. Then we discovered vintage linens. Oh my. I mean, I'd already sort of discovered them, but I really got into the added amazing hobby, which is collecting them, which a lot of you understand, right? I did an Instagram post about this, and I found my people, and they're like, yeah, I get it. It's the hobby. It's the collecting. So now I have, I don't even know how many, I think 26 small-ish bins that are labeled embroidered hankies, very small embroidered doilies, large embroidered runners, small embroidered runners, embroidered dinner napkins. You get the drift, okay? I have a lot of these. And currently they are piled up neatly, but piled up on the floor, pretty much blocking my printer. Okay, it's not ideal. So I have been pondering how to reorganize this room, which started life as our bonus room and my office. Well, so it used to be just our bonus room. Then during COVID, I had to close my photography studio, which admittedly was sad, but is okay because I'm not spending tons on overhead anymore. Then it was my office. And then this year, it became my crafting empire, as I call it, because most of my work I do when I'm out and about. As you will see if you follow me on Instagram, I am generally at a coffee shop in between meetings and sewing in between meetings whenever I get a moment. So, sorry, but fussy cutting these little guys. Do I really want to do it? I don't know. Actually, I'm not really sure I love those top buds. I'm going to cut those guys off. I like where we can really see them. I'm going to move you out of the way so you stop getting little things all over you. All right. So anyway, the room has gone through many transformations. I'm currently working at a folding table that is kind of off to one side, that has my sewing machine and various baskets of loveliness. But I think I'm going to put in some cubbies along the wall. I'm also trying to determine whether keeping things in bins or keeping things in Ziploc bags or some combination is the best way to go. I think I like my bins for my fabric, for my linens, because it just keeps them folded up better. But for like colors of fabric scraps, this is handy, and I can just grab a few and I can take them with me even. So, I don't know. So what I'm thinking is if I have some cubbies, it'll provide some natural walls, and then I can just keep these kind of, or maybe have like a basket with these Ziploc bags full of fabrics. So I've got basically two storage methods I'm using right now. I am putting my colors of fabric scraps in baggies, in giant Ziploc bags, gallon size ones. And then I'm keeping my linens by category in some like plastic containers. What do you do? I know some of you guys have phenomenal storage ideas. One of you, I think it might be Christine, keeps them like in file kind of, not file folders, but it like in a book of some kind. That's cool. If I were a quilter, and had bigger yardage, then that's a different thing. But I do have some bigger yardage, especially, and I'll show you, what that looks like. So in the collection of fabric that I got from this lady whose mother was a quilter, I do have bigger yardages. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that fussy cutting job. So, isn't that pretty? Oh my goodness, I really like that for the cover. I think that's beautiful. Okay, now, she doesn't want to be alone. And I am going to use this Rick Rex. Now, I can definitely take some more from there, but I like to mix fabrics. So, when I was sorting, I just put everything that was some sort of plaid in this one. So that could work. Let's see. That has some of my colors. That's too strong. Possibly something in those colors. And not even necessarily for right here. So I like to pull all my fabrics that I might use in a project, like even on other pages. I think that's a good way to have some cohesive look throughout. Okay. Then I know I've got, look at this baby. Pinks. Okay, so those are possibilities. Then I've got all this great pink fabric. Oh, for some of it in there somewhere. I love that. Yes. Okay, so these little bits are definitely working with my colors. I'll pull a couple of those. The awesome thing was this woman has like even stuff already cut for, I think this was going to be a giant yo-yo quilt. Definitely keeping that out. And smatterings of other fabrics. I like that. Ooh, I love this little piece of fabric. I have a couple of tiny scraps of that. I don't mind calling them scraps. I know some people don't like that, but I don't think. It's okay. They know I love them. All right. Then there were just bits that is kind of a pinkish color, but of basic fabric. I like that. There's a larger piece of that other one. Now this one's cut in a hexagon. Isn't that amazing? I mean, this woman had so many projects going, and I will honor them and do something with them. Oh, I love that. Some of these fabrics look like, I don't know if it's Liberty. I've tried to use my Google Lens and look up some of the fabrics, and I can't always find them. But if you know, tell me. But I just love these incredibly small prints of flowers. In fact, I did a whole baggie that is just a few different kinds of small print flowers. Okay, that's some good fabric for pinks. And these are some laces and things. Laces and ribbons, and I could use a little bit of pink ribbon in here. See how long's that? We'll throw that in. Look at this old lace. There's a lot of it too. It's just pretty. I don't know. I don't know if I'll use it, but we'll just put that in the collection here. Let's see what else. I love that. Okay. How do you select fabrics for a project? This is what you do. You just kind of throw them on there. That's what I do. I mean, sometimes I just have an idea going in. I love this, and that it's just like a tattered part. We'll see. Oh, and here's more of it. I think that's enough, though. Throw in some cream. I don't think that's old lace. I think that's just from my random collection. This is really cool. I'll throw that in for right now. Okay, I also have this box of things that I have been using. And so they're just little scraps. Let's see what we've got. I love this lace. It has a big stain on it, but that's okay. I love this. This is a whole piece, and I could see using that as a pocket. Okay. Ooh, this is a pretty little embroidery. That could work. This is just what's left of the edge of something. That could work. I mean, really, is there anything that couldn't work, right? You just start thinking about it. You're like, ooh, that would be pretty. Oh, I love this. This is a very old pillowcase. Those flowers. I used this in another fabric journal I just finished. Okay. Now, this is a great foundation fabric, but I'm not going to need that for this because we already have our pretty little crocheted piece. If I wanted to cut off a couple of these, there, I might. I have a lot of kind of more antique-y, tea dyed-ish colored yo-yo, or not yo-yos, little doilies that I've harvested off of big doilies. But this book looks like it's going to be more white, so I'm going to put that there. All right, what else have we got in here? Oh, those things. Oh, this is this fabric. I've already made a bunch of things out of this fabric. I love it. It has like 10 of those pattern. but not for this one. I love this fabric. Okay, that's gonna probably find its way in. What else is in here? Oh, look at that bluebird. Okay, this is the sad bluebird. His friend has no head. Oh, poor bluebird. But you know what? This little guy with those pink flowers might work. All right, little friends, you guys get to stay because I might be able to use you in here. I'm just pulling stuff that might be a good pocket or a good, you know, might find its way in there at this point. What else have I got? A lot of purple there. I think this little guy that has some pinks. This is obviously way too big, but I might use that a little bit. I've used this on something else. Not quite the right colors for this project. Oh, how sweet is that? So this, because it's a very special project, I might use some of that. Those are little pink. Again, I'm going to trim those off if I use that. What else? Oh, look at that beautiful little stained doily. What else? Oh, what other doilies are hiding in the bottom of here? These are cool because you could stitch on the center of them. Not sure it's right for this project though. That is absolutely beautiful with that tatted edging. Definitely could see that as a pocket. Okay, I'm gonna leave that in the mix. Okay. You might be saying, Kate, excuse me, girl, do you not have way too much stuff? You never know, right? I'm about to drive like an hour away. Oh, look how cute that is. I don't know what I'm going to need or use, so I'm just going to pile up the fabrics. And this is why my Huswif has a giant fabric pocket in it. This is my Huswif. Oh, let's see what goodies are in here. Okay, I got a whole bunch of orts from my last project. No, the orts are in here. I made a little pouch just so I can store orts when I'm out and about. Let's empty that out because I have no doubt we'll have more. Those went over to my orts jar. Now this is just a massive tangle of random threads. They're not orts. They look like orts, but they're actually, I don't know. Well, I guess they are. I forget why they ended up in here, but it is a nice assortment of colors of lengths of thread. I'm going to leave this in here for now. It's not bothering me, and it would give me a bunch of different colors to work with. On the bottom of my Huswif, which I have not been using as much, I've been just sticking things in little pouches and going. But for this project, we'll see. I gotta think about this. Do I want to take this? It is nice to have everything in one place. I'll tell you that. See, so I can take all these little pieces. Doilies. I don't need, well, I'll bring that. I'm not sure how much of it I would use. This doily. I'm going to leave this one. Little birdie. That fabric that I love. Okay, I do not need this giant piece of fabric with me because really what I want is like one piece of it to use for a pocket or something. I'm just going to trim off, let's see which part. I think I'm going to take from this side and just bring this little square with me. If I want to make it smaller, obviously I could, but this is the one I want for this piece. And there's no need to take this whole thing with me, you know, so when you're, whether you're traveling because you're going on a vacation or work, or whether you're just going out for the day and you know you're going to have some time in between, and as me, want to always have stuff to do, you can just trim off a little bit. Okay, so she's going to go. These little guys are coming with me. This whole thing is coming because I really don't know how I would use that. So is this. You know, and again, I'm probably not going to use all of this, but I'd rather have it with me just in case. This, some laces. Okay, my trims I'm going to leave off to the side. Now, some of you are probably saying, that's a lot of stuff. You're right. I'm going to bring this one. I don't think I really love these colors, so they're going to go back into their basket. or they're baggy. Okay, yes to the little bits of pink. Bits of pink, yes, yes, yes. And I'm just kind of flattening them as I go so they don't take as much space. All of that goes to the side. Y'all aren't coming here. Y'all need to go back in your bag. These are some other neutral fabrics. I might want a couple of neutrals. Let's see. That's a really pretty neutral fabric that has this tiny little flower design. I'll take a length of that in case I need it for something. What else do I have in here? You know, obviously I'm not like going, I'm not going on safari. I am not going to another country, at least not today. So I don't need to take literally everything with me, but I'm going to take some stuff. Ooh, look at this lace collar. Lace collar wants to come and be part of the party. Lace collar, you're going to go over with the trims. These little bits are all going to come there. And there's my beautiful starting place. My fussy cut, beautiful linen from Christine. Christine, I'm excited about your thing. Okay. All right. So this pile of fabric, well, it's a lot. It's not that much. And look at this. Because I put this giant fabric thing in the middle of my Huswif, look how happily it's in there. Now, all of these bits are going to come into this bottom pocket. I knew when I made my Huswif that I just needed a whole bunch of pockets, which is true, because look at that. And I'm just going to lay this project on top. Now, I will probably be putting this in, I have a bag that I like to put my sewing stuff in, and it already has some needles and thread and some other stuff in there. So I could put them all here, but I'm not going to worry about that. All right, I'm going to put my couple extra doilies in with those. Now, how will this close? Good question. It'll just close. It's, you know, that's the great thing about a Huswif. It's basically what, like a little roll. And I do have a safety pin here. I could get fancy with one of my, check these out. Okay, I'm just sidebar for 1 second here. Look at what I got recently. Aren't they glorious? Oh my word. I bought them for not much each recently at one of my antique mall places. I could close it with that, you know, if I were being really fun. But I think in the interest of keeping these from wear and tear, I'm just going to do this. What I'm anticipating is putting these maybe as a closure. Look at this hummingbird. Isn't she beautiful? And then I got this elephant for my Lily who loves elephants. Okay, here's a little floating Suffolk puff. This project will definitely have some Suffolk puffs, but I'm not bringing anything. We are so far from being done on this project, as you know. I just started. Oh, and this lady in my church gave me these, and I love them. She's kind of cleaning out her stuff, and she has found in me a kindred spirit who appreciates all the stuff just like she does. All right, my dears. There's my Huswif ready to hit the road with my new project. I will be bringing a pair of full size scissors with me, which sometimes I tuck in there, but I'll probably leave out for this time. And I'm going to be off, and I will catch you up on the progress. But Christine, again, thank you for that very beautiful, fussy little piece of fabric from Nana's Traveling Rickrack. I have a feeling this rickrack is going to find its way into this project, but I'm going to leave it here so that nothing happens to it. All right, my friends, I hope you have a great day, whatever you're doing, and that you're able to get creative today. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.